So today I'm going to show you how I make my homemade yogurt. I like my yogurt a little thicker. Some of the things that I'm going to do are going to be optional, and I'll try to remember to tell you what's optional and what's not. So the first step is to take our milk. I'm going to try to do everything one-handed here since I don't have anybody to video. Take the milk and pour it into a very large pot, the whole gallon. We're going to make a lot of yogurt. You can always make less if you want. You'll just have to figure out the proportions. But it's a whole gallon of milk. And I like to use whole milk. My kids drink whole milk. I know it has full fat. You don't have to use whole milk if you don't want. It does make the yogurt a little more fattening. But I like the taste and the creaminess of it. The next step that you're going to do is you're going to get non-fat dry milk or powdered milk, whatever you call it. And you get about 1.5 cups of this. You can play with this, see what you like. I like to add this. It's optional. You don't have to add powdered milk to your yogurt, but it does make it thicker. So if you like a thicker yogurt rather than a runnier yogurt, you'll want to add some powdered milk to your mixture. But it's really up to you what you want to do. This next step is also optional. I'm going to add 1.5 cups of sugar to my yogurt. That was 1/2 cup. Here's 1 cup. Sorry for the shakiness. Again, I'm doing my own videoing. And there's 1.5 cups. This sweetens it. You can add more than that or less than that, or you could add other types of sweeteners like honey or maple syrup or whatever you'd like. These can also be added after the fact, so if you'd rather have plain yogurt and add your sweeteners after, then you're welcome to do that as well. It's really up to you. The next step that I do is I get vanilla and I add about 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Again, optional. You don't have to make your yogurt vanilla. You don't have to make it sweet. You can actually just make plain yogurt. You can also add other flavorings. Besides vanilla, I've tried strawberry, I've tried orange. Again, I just come back to vanilla. I like vanilla because I can add whatever I want. I can add strawberries later, I can add blueberries later, I can add whatever I desire later, and vanilla goes with pretty much everything. Okay, after you have everything in the yogurt that you want in your yogurt, and I apologize for the bad lighting, it's nighttime. I always make my yogurt at night. But after you have everything in your yogurt that you want in your yogurt, you stir it all up and you put it on your stove on medium heat. And what we're doing is we're heating this up. You want it to be between 185 and 195. We're just trying to basically kill anything that may already be in the milk, get it nice and warm, and then we'll get to our next step. One reason that I make my yogurt at night is that when I put it in the dehydrator, it has to sit in the dehydrator and not be touched for 10 hours. With small children, kids like to touch dehydrators. And I also don't like waking up in the middle of the night, so I usually try to plan it pretty close to right before I go to bed. That way I can deal with it in the morning. Yeah. Okay, here's our yogurt. It's still cooking. It's not really yogurt yet, just milk, sugar, vanilla, and some powdered milk. I just stir it every so often. I've been doing that for quite a while now. I've still got it on medium heat. We're waiting for it to get to 185, and right now it's at 181.4. An alarm will go off when it gets to 185. Just gonna keep stirring it. Nothing too exciting. Okay, Now that we're at 185, well, it was at 185 until I let go of the probe. We're gonna turn the burner off, take our thermometer out, and remove this from the burner. And we're gonna let it cool. It's kind of a hurry up and wait type of business, this yogurt making. We have to wait until the yogurt is 110 degrees. So just sit tight till your yogurt is 110 degrees now. Okay, at this point, I'm still waiting for my milk to cool down to 110 degrees. It's at 120 right now, so we only have 10 degrees to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my dehydrator on to 115 degrees Fahrenheit and let it warm up. That way it's ready for our yogurt when we have it all ready to go. You want to make sure that your dehydrator is preheated and ready for your yogurt when it's finished. Alright, so the yogurt is just barely under 110 degrees now, so it's ready. We're ready for our next step. You don't want to do this step before your yogurt gets under 110 degrees, otherwise you will kill the cultures in the yogurt, and that's what actually makes your yogurt. So for your starter, which is what we're going to be putting in, it's called a starter, you need some yogurt that has active cultures in it. You can buy one like this. I prefer to use Greek yogurt. I just get plain, it doesn't have anything added to it other than the yogurt. And you'll want to make sure in the ingredients that you read the culture names there, or that it has some sort of label that says active cultures or something. If you've made yogurt previously, you don't have to buy a yogurt. You can just use some of the previous yogurt that you've made. So you just open it up, and for a whole gallon of milk, you only want to do between 2 and 3 tablespoons of yogurt. So I'm just going to do a little more than 2. And then I'm going to get my whisk, and I'm just going to stir it just to get it all mixed in there. Take my thermometer out. Get it all nice and mixed in. Okay, and then we'll go to our next step. The next step is to pour your yogurt. It's not really yogurt yet, it's still liquid, but pour it into jars. I like to use quart jars, and I use these plastic lids that I got at a grocery store in the canning section. If you get your milk on sale, and you could get your yogurt on sale too, this is actually really cheap to make this much yogurt. Way cheaper than buying this much yogurt for sure. And you don't have all the extra sugars or whatnot. You can choose what goes into your yogurt. So this time I ended up with about 5 quart jars, pretty much full. I don't have much room other than the neck of the jars left on any of these, so I have pretty much 5 quart jars. Once the bubbles go down, it will be a little less. That will be after we let the yogurt sit. So you put the lids on, screw them on there tight. It doesn't have to be extremely tight, just, you know, tighten it with your hand. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the jars into the dehydrator. I have an Excalibur dehydrator. I love it. It works really well. I've dried jerky in it. I dried fruit in it. I've done some fruit leather, and I make my yogurt in it. I've also used it to put my bread in to rise when it's cold in my house. I love it for all those uses. Excalibur is an awesome brand. I got mine on Craigslist. The only thing that it doesn't have that I wish it did was a timer. Excalibur makes a dehydrator with a timer, but when you're getting it on Craigslist, you settle for no timer for a deal. And I definitely got a good deal. So what I've done is I've taken all of the trays out of the dehydrator, and I'm just going to very gently set my jars in the dehydrator. And remember that I preheated the dehydrator, so it's already warm. And I'm going to close the lid, and then I'm going to make note of what time it is, because we don't want to take the yogurt out before 10 hours. I had a good night's sleep, so I'm going to turn the dehydrator off. Just open the door very gently. You don't want to shake the yogurt at all. You want to be very gentle. What we're going to do now, because the yogurt is warm or kind of hot-ish, we're going to take them out individually, very gently. And I'm just going to slightly tip it so you can see it's not really liquid anymore. It's definitely thicker, but we don't want to shake it up too much, so I'm not going to do too much of that. But what we're going to do is we're not even going to open the lid to look or anything. Just make sure your lid is on there tight and move it to the fridge. And you're going to put it inside your fridge and just leave it there for probably at least 6 hours until it's completely cool. After it's completely cool, you're welcome to take it out and try some. But again, leave it in there until it's completely cool, completely through. Move all of them to the fridge. And that will end your yogurt making.